How do we take all these big ideas about youth engagement and actually execute a project and get a team together? And we believe it's really important. We believe it's really important because youth work is messy, but guess what? So is democracy. And if we care about our democracy in New Jersey, which we should, then we need to engage youth because it's just like the same process we need to go through to engage citizens the right way, in a really authentic way, in a way that matters and makes people feel like their voice matters. So we created kind of an arc of the year. So the project started this year. The project started last summer where we had a coaches retreat training session for all the coaches. So who are the coaches? In each of the 11 towns, a grantee hired usually 2 coaches, people from the community, to kind of shepherd this entire project from beginning to end. So the coaches all came together in a big meeting where we did a training and we told them about the arc of the project. And these 3 pillars are really important in the time arc of this entire year project, which the first cohort is happening this summer. So this first July project will be the first time these youth in these 11 cities will have done this health project. So the first piece of it is team building. Team building is super, super important and something that's very overlooked. It's important in the research and it's important in day-to-day. You can see these teams develop. So team building is really important because it helps youth feel known. It helps them feel like they have people counting on them. If you've been part of a sports team or a team at work, you're much more likely to show up because you know the other folks that you care about, that you've gone through stuff with, care about you and you're accountable to them interpersonally. And that piece is really, really important. Youth engagement doesn't just happen if you drop a bunch of random youth into a room and throw a mayor in there and call it youth engagement. That's not youth engagement. Building these networks is just as much a part of youth engagement as any other piece of it. We started off with a weekend at Camp Rocknicket, which is a YMCA camp in the Pine Barrens where there's water and a lake and a river and canoeing and high ropes course and all these like really intense team building activities. So it was sort of this team building ethos in a box for one really intense weekend. And that gave them all a common denominator from which they could build moving forward. Because the stuff's going to be challenging as they grow, right? They're going to go through a lot over the course of the year together. You want them to have a grounding and shared experience. The second thing is really emphasizing a connection with the community. Much like what Bob was saying about not wanting folks to parachute in and be done things to them, needs to be a collaborative effort. And the youth, they're only going to be doing this a year. They have to be building on existing infrastructure. They have to be connecting with elected officials, nonprofit leaders, university leaders in their cities, so that beyond their time here, it will be sustained. And they'll be building from something that already exists. One of the challenges we found with this community partnership stuff was that community leaders aren't necessarily well suited automatically to dealing with youth. And you can imagine why, right? I'm not necessarily comfortable with the idea that instead of the old script, which we've seen 1,000 times, which is I'm the adult, you're the youth, you're going to sit here and listen, you're going to take notes eagerly because I'm so brilliant, you have to flip the script, right? You have to flip the script a little bit, and you have to be comfortable with that, and you have to be okay with things. You have to keep it online, you have to keep guardrails in, but you have to be okay with that multi-directional conversation with a true partnership. And breaking down that framework in people's minds is really hard.
Right, because that's how they develop initiative, right? We know from the research, that's how youth develop initiative. 1, they have to have agency, they have to have voice. 2, they have to have the arc of time, right? A year is a good amount of time. And 3, it has to result in them doing some product or performance at the back end. That's their summer employment project. But that's, again, hard. It's who put it out. Everyone says we want to engage youth. Everyone says we want community voice. Nobody really does that really well because it's hard to do, right? I mean, it's when we say we want to engage the community and we have meetings at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and we don't have childcare and we have all these other issues, we're not really trying to engage the community. And same thing with youth. We say we want to engage youth, but it's difficult. Like Sue said, and Sue was going to put it out. It's hard to work with them. It's hard to keep them at the table, get them at the table, and engage them in an authentic way where they come in as partners. And that's what we need to do. We need to have them come in as partners.
Yeah, and it's about power and control and all these really big picture issues that then echo into our democracy as well. So finally, you've built your team, you've connected with the community, you've collaborated on what a vision for this project can be, you have some sense, it taps into things that already exist. Your last step in this, which is all the teams right now are doing this work right now, is to plan and execute a sustainable project. And what are the criteria of a sustainable good youth project for the month of July? Well, number 1, it has to utilize the talents of youth. So we see youth as actual assets. Imagine that. In a world where we see youth as like all the problems and the source of all ills, right? Kids today. We see youth as an actual asset who understand, who know their communities, who have energy and idealism and all those great things. So a good project taps into all of that youth have naturally. And a good project also uses the time really well. So these are teams that are ranged from 8 kids, 8 youth to 20 youth, and they work full time the entire month of July. So that's a lot of man hours. So this project has to have enough meat on its bones, enough there to keep kids occupied and on task an entire summer. So those two pieces are kind of the big questions we were asking. Is it measurable? Can you measure outcomes? Does it, really create a lasting impact? Those are all good questions too.
No, it brings us to a logic model.